This is Ed Driscoll. Welcome to Silicon Graffiti. When most of us think of the stifling of free speech, images like this are probably what come to mind.
You asked me once, Winston, what was in room 101. I told you that you knew already. Everyone knows. The thing that is in room 101 is the worst thing in the world.
But the reality is much more banal, as Ezra Levant discovered when he republished in Canada the infamous Muhammad cartoons first published in Denmark in 2005. According to a recent article by Heather Cook at PajamasMedia.com, on the very day that the Western Standard with the infamous cartoons was being printed, Levant appeared on Calgary radio to debate Saeed Sourwardi, an imam trained at an anti-Semitic Saudi university who advocates Sharia law in Canada. The debate centered around the cartoons and all of the accompanying shouldas, wouldas, and couldas. Sourwardi did not know that Levant was about to publish the cartoons, aka offend Muhammad, but that did not matter. Levant was the clear winner in the debate, and that offended Sourwardi, who marched down to a Calgary police station and demanded that they arrest Levant for offending him during the debate and simply discussing the cartoons in the media. After the officers explained that they didn't do that in Canada, Sourwardi filed a complaint with the Alberta Human Rights Commission. The result, of course, was Levant's infamous run-in with Shirlene McGovern, an officer of the Alberta Human Rights Commission, which, much to the chagrin of the Alberta Human Rights Commission, Levant videotaped and uploaded to YouTube in early 2008.
My name is Ezra Levant. Before this government interrogation begins, I will make a statement. When the Western Standard magazine printed the Danish cartoons of Mohammed 2 years ago, I was the publisher. It was the proudest moment of my public life. I would do it again today. In fact, I did do it again today. Though the Western Standard, sadly, no longer publishes a print edition, I posted the cartoons this morning on my website, EzraLevant.com. I'm here at this interrogation under protest. It is my position that the government has no legal or moral authority to interrogate me or anyone else for publishing these words and pictures. That is a violation of my ancient and inalienable freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and in this case, religious freedom and the separation of mosque and state. It is especially perverted that a bureaucracy calling itself the Alberta Human Rights Commission would be the government agency violating my human rights. So I will now call those bureaucrats the Commission, or the HRC, since to call the Commission a Human Rights Commission is to destroy the meaning of those words.
Well, on one level, the actual interrogation with McGovern might look to some like a day wasted at the DMV. The end result is likely to be far less benign, as Levant told me on a recent edition of Pajamas Media's PJM Political show on XM Satellite Radio.
Ezra Levant, I don't know if you mentioned this previously, but ultimately, how is this all going to play out? What sort of punishment can the Alberta Human Rights Commission lay down?
Well, they don't have the full powers of a criminal court, but here's what they can do, and I think it's going to happen because I went in there so unrepentant. They can fine me, probably about $10,000. They can also order me to pay this imam about the same amount. I estimate they'll make me pay him $5,000 to $10,000. So about $20,000 in fines, which is nothing compared to the legal bills I'll incur. But what is the most odious, and this is what concerns me the most, is they have this strange power to be able to order people like me to apologize. Now, that's very Orwellian, because ordering someone to apologize if they don't mean it is a remedy for a thought crime. They're saying, well, you must confess that you were wrong. Well, you didn't convince me I'm wrong, but to force me to say words I don't believe, that's very weird.
In his new best-selling book, Liberal Fascism, Jonah Goldberg wrote that while many still consider George Orwell's 1984 to be the definitive look at totalitarianism, it's looking more and more like Huxley's Brave New World is actually closer to the mark. It's a kinder and gentler form of totalitarianism. Think of it as totalitarianism with a smiley face. For Silicon Graffiti, I'm Ed Driscoll.